I'm Yael Oelbaum, and I'm manager on JetBlue's People Data Insights team. My specific branch of the team focuses on all elements related to the pre-hire through new hire experience. I lead JetBlue's work streams regarding hiring system design, as well as creating, validating, and vetting all of our assessments. And this is across the board at JetBlue, from our corporate work group to in-flight, our flight attendants, to customer support, to airport operations, our gate agents, and to, of course, our pilots. In 2016 at JetBlue, we launched our innovative Gateway Select program, where we have this pilot recruiting pathway to hire aspiring pilots with little to no flight experience, who then join a rigorous 4-year training program. The idea here is that candidates are evaluated on their potential to become a pilot rather than their previous flight experience. We utilize a thorough selection process to choose the small cohorts that are accepted into this training program every year. And as part of our selection process, we employ remote assessments through Symbiotics. We use one assessment towards the beginning of the selection process to funnel our candidate pool for our interviews. And then another one, a joystick assessment later on in the process to inform our final selection decisions. For this program, like all of our work groups at JetBlue, we have candidates from across the US, so our recruiting activities really span the country. The remote assessment results are really informative to us to trim down our larger candidate pool and then determine, as I mentioned, who's invited to our interviews. Before COVID, we used testing centers through one of our business partners who have locations all over the US. So candidates would just find a location near their home, independently sign up for this testing center, and take the assessment within a certain window of time. Overall, this was working for us. Once in a while, we did experience some hiccups. For example, a candidate would have a problem at a testing site, and by the time we were informed of the issue and then could provide a solution, either the candidate had been there for quite some time or they'd already gone home. However, in general, we weren't planning on making any major changes in the near short term. Then the world experienced COVID, and our Gateway Select activities, our selection activities, halted. When we were ready to start up again in 2021, we had some critical conversations around what the Gateway Select recruiting process would look like moving forward. The testing centers were open again, so that was an option for us. However, many of our recruiting activities had already turned virtual, and we were hoping to minimize in-person requirements for our candidates. We wanted the process to be as smooth and as comfortable as possible. We also thought, looking at the silver lining, this was an opportunity to rethink our process and to dive into how we can make improvements rather than just reverting back to what we've already done in the past. So we started brainstorming some issues, as some possibilities. And one of the things we thought of was doing some sort of remote proctoring through JetBlue. But we couldn't really develop this idea or think through how we would do this. At the same time that we were thinking through alternatives, Symbiotics approached us with their remote proctoring solution. And this was exciting to us for a number of reasons. Number one, there was no added cost to using the solution. So if we transitioned from testing centers to Symbiotics remote proctoring solution, we would actually be saving a substantial amount of money by not having to pay for the testing centers. Number two, their solution tackled a number of the concerns that we had with remote proctoring when we were thinking about it. There are built-in capabilities to speak with the candidates either individually, privately, or in a group. There are capabilities to check each candidate's desktop privately, to release candidate tests at the pace that the proctor chose. So there were a lot of different features available. And number three, it's connected to the Symbiotics website where candidates have to go anyway to take the assessment. So it's much more of an integrated solution. At first blush, we thought this could be a really great way to go, but there were still a few steps we needed to take to prepare to ensure that the solution would work the way we envisioned. At JetBlue also, we're always thinking about the candidate experience. So we had to think through not only would this be efficient, but how does this look like from the candidate end? First, we had a demo with Symbiotics. Then Symbiotics provided us with some free license codes where we could do our own testing. We did some one-on-one testing, one proctor, one candidate. Then we did some testing with one proctor on multiple candidates. We asked our fake candidates to use different computers and to do it in different locations so that we could ensure that the solution worked across different systems and across different internet connections. We then created a training for all of our proctors to go through to orient them to the system, to review their responsibilities, to provide a script for how they would walk through the assessment with the candidates. Um, and each proctor was given the chance to practice beforehand. Of course, we experienced some bumps along the way. For example, earlier on, we realized that candidates who use Macs were really struggling. However, Symbiotics has been incredibly responsive in helping us work through these issues despite our time difference. Um, and they investigated things on their end, and then either they would develop a workaround for us or supply us with some extra guidance to provide candidates to make the process as smooth as possible. Related to this Mac issue, Symbiotics thoroughly researched it, but then also sent us comprehensive instructions for how candidates could overcome the barriers that they were experiencing. And anytime we've had feedback or suggestions on the system, we've been able to partner with Symbiotics to discuss these. Overall, it was a very time efficient and cost effective solution for us to successfully test our Gateway Select candidates, smoothly work through the recruitment cycle in what continues to be this very trying time.